So something I'd like to share about myself. We all have these little instances or life events that are teachers or cue us in as to plant us in, root us in as to what we're going to do in this life. Two huge major life events kind of alerted me to subconsciously or consciously to what I would eventually professionally, personally, spiritually, mentally, intellectually do on a daily basis or as a career, as a life mission. The first trauma we ever experience is birth. During my birthing process, they gave my mom an epidural, as they do in American hospitals, so you don't feel what you're going through. And for some, that might be a choice. They missed and made an error. My mom passed out. Now I'm stuck in her vaginal canal being born, and she can't push me out, so I'm suffocating. They reach in with forceps, pull me out by my face, and delivered me, and they supported my mom, and she came through, blah, blah, blah. But she forever chronically had these headaches and some numbness and tingling and some other shit that she had to deal with, still has to deal with in the process of healing from that moment 43 years ago. But at the time, my face was like a pancake because the baby's head is so malleable and soft. My dad, being a professional pitcher, got the idea. He put oil on his hands and molded my head, rubbing it like a baseball to create this beautiful dome shape that I have today. I still have scars if I'm clean shaven and you see, it looks like I just woke up, like I have pillow print. But that was an instance where medical error created this scenario that we all now have to heal from. And I don't know what that did to me as a being. I'm forever going to be healing from stuff because that's just the way life is. That's how we're developed and programmed. Another instance, I had an achy shoulder as a college pitcher one summer. So to be proactive, they tell you to go get an MRI because you're supposed to get imaging done because that's what you're supposed to do. They inject dye into the socket. Dye got infected. I had 105-degree fever, a joint infection, had to be rushed in for emergency surgery or my life was on the line. I would have died. Possibly. Flushed my shoulder with 6 liters of saline, IV antibiotics for a month. You can imagine what that did to my gut flora. Both instances, and then I forever rehabbed and tried to come back, but the infection ate away my shoulder capsule so much I had to have a second surgery. I was never exactly as I was. I pushed myself to the brink during rehab, spiritually, emotionally, physically, mentally, everything to come back. Pitched 2 seasons of professional baseball, got my fill, moved on. This is what I do today. Point of me telling you this, twice in my life, I've been on both sides of that fence. What fence? The U.S. medical system. We excel in emergency care. Emergency care, we are unbelievable. If I want to have an emergency scenario, I want it to happen in this country. For every other scenario other than that, I want to steer clear of hospitals, doctors' offices, the allopathic model. So unless I fall off a building, or I'm suffocating in a vagina, or I have an infection, deep full body infection that's threatening my life within hours, I don't ever want to go into that allopathic system. Everything is manageable. The hospital created the scenario because my mom chose to give birth in a U.S. hospital system, which now you're safer to give birth in like a jungle than the hospitals in America, according to the latest science. And then to be proactive, just to check out an achy shoulder, the MRI, the screening procedure to see if there's injury, put me in an environment where my body had to try to survive by creating an infection that technically I would have died trying to fight this, but that's just part of how we are. In the healing approach, the body does its best. burns a fever to burn up that bacteria. It creates a white blood cell immune response in my shoulder, creates pain to bring my attention and awareness, malaise, so I stop moving, stop eating to take energy. It did its best to survive that instance that I was put in because of the medical system. So twice I saw what the medical system does when we try to be along their lines. You try to get ahead of it according to them. Twice I've been saved. My life has been saved by said medical system. So there is a time and a place for the allopathic model, but that doesn't make them billions of dollars. Emergency care is not lucrative enough. So they have to take emergency care model and intervene into our poor lifestyles and the paths we choose, our perception of our environment and the actions we take. They're trying to intervene, and then also trying to spin it to say that you have bad genetics, you've been exposed to germs and germs cause disease, which is not the case. You're sick, you're diseased, you're a label. So it's very interesting as I look back, and I was having a conversation with a friend and I'm sitting there, I've been through it twice. What I'm trying to fight is the medical system having been set up in a way in this country to have you feel like something's wrong with you, that when your body's talking to you in the language it does, which is symptoms, that something is wrong with you, that you're flawed, you're diseased, you're sick. You're not ever sick. The body is constantly trying to adapt to the environment that you place it in. That model has you feeling as a victim, has you feeling that you're weak, you're flawed, you're diseased, you're genetically predisposed, that you need them. And then they create more problems with that model that they can then get you feeling that you have a problem with the problems that they created from the problems in the first place. Problem? Perfect business model, shit. But I'm gonna put an end to it, or at least that's my life mission, to draw out and expose. And what a great time. They created this fake pandemic. They created this scenario using media, censoring information, censoring the stuff you need to hear, to get you to think that you need them, that you're dirty, that people around you are dirty, that kids are dirty, and that they can get you sick. What a great exposure. What a great time that people are waking up to the problems with this allopathic model. The fact that it is a billion-dollar, multi-billions of dollars. They own the media. They own the government. They own everything. I've been victim to them twice. I've been saved by them, by the intelligence of the body ultimately, but the application and suggestions that they applied. Interesting, I got to play both sides, so I got to see the effect both sides, subconsciously and consciously. Being that I've been on both sides, I'd still choose, unless there's a bone sticking out of my face, unless I just fell off a building, or unless I got in a massive car accident and I'm gonna die within hours. You are safer. I am safer when the hospitals are closed, when the doctor's office is closed. Allopathic. There's many other options. You are never sick. You are never your diagnosis. You're never your label. Symptoms are the body's language. It's how the body talks to us to let us know that it's working for us. We have to listen to it. I will die on this hill. I will fight this till my last breath, till I level up. Prepare yourselves.